Hello everybody, Bayplanes here, and today I have a lot to talk about on the 737 project, and I've been busy for the last few days working on this plane, trying to get as much done as I can, and I have been doing a lot of work towards the front of the aircraft, and excuse me for there being no wings still, that will be in the next update, but yeah, a lot has been done up here towards the front, and the front, I call it the most difficult part of building any plane. I don't care what plane it is, the front is always going to be the most difficult because it is what people judge first when you build a plane. It's like the face of the aircraft, so if you get it wrong, it's really going to hurt. So what I did here with the 737 nose is used an enormous amount of very complicated techniques here. I hinged these on this. I showed you that in the last update. I sort of tapered it from the bottom. I'm tapering it from the top. I'm not completely satisfied with it yet. There's some still areas around here and there I'm gonna smooth out before the next update. So if you see some things that aren't perfect, just keep in mind that this is not completely done and this is still just a work in progress update. But I'm trying to get the general shape of the 737 in. And for the windscreen, that's sort of interesting. I went through many different iterations of trying to get the windscreen, and a lot of very interesting things had to happen here in order to get the windscreen correct. I tried to get all the window panes in there that the real one had, so got the top one, the one running down the center, which is one of the most important. Out here towards the sides, sorry, shake camera, I got one here. So yeah, the window panes on these things are actually pretty important if you ask me, because it gives it that sort of real glass look. And I went through a lot of different design ideas for the windscreen. I actually considered using one of these pre-molded ones because I thought that it would look a little cleaner and better, but you can see it might have worked out, but I just don't think it was just not tall enough. That's the problem I found, because you can see that this is a little taller than this one right here, so it just didn't look good. I tried it, and it doesn't have those window panes running through it, so that's also a slight issue. And on another note, the landing gear on the bottom does completely retract. I'm not going to flip it over, I'll do that on the next update, but you can see this would go all the way in like this. But I'm not going to do it here because I don't want to have any disasters. And then these two doors here would fold in. So again, I'm still working on some parts of the nose to make it as good as it possibly can be, and just still changing some things like I always do. But yeah, that's really important. Oh, and the doors, here's what I came up with the doors so far. I have not come up with a mechanism on how to hinge it yet, but this is just my idea for the door. It'll have to hinge out like this. But again, I'm still working on that. I haven't got to the doors yet. And in terms of the interior, you can see this whole thing comes off as one piece. You can see that there is not much of an interior yet. This is the economy class back here. Then this is going to be business class. I need to build some really nice looking seats for that. Up here towards the front, you can see where both the doors enter. I'm still gonna have to go through that. And then up towards the front, that's gonna be the cockpit area and the first lavatories and all that stuff. So again, this is still very rough on the inside. It's not completely done yet, mostly because, well, I haven't even tried to do the interior because I've been working on the nose. And what I am thinking about, sorry, tongue twister there, what I'm thinking about for the next update is that I need to build another wing. I'm not looking forward to building another wing because, well, it's boring. So that should be the next update. I already have the flaps built for that wing, so it's just a simple matter of copying down the design for the other wing. But what makes the nose so important, and why this has been 3 or 4 days since the last update, for really not a ton of mass progress, you haven't seen too much back here get built, was because the nose for this one needs to be designed well, and it needs to be designed legally. When I say legally, I mean if this is going to be an idea set, it can't be built using sketchy techniques. So that really slows me down since some of my techniques are very sketchy. So yeah, that's another slight problem there. And something else I didn't really mention was that this nose here, this particular one that I designed now, is going to save me a lot of time later on because it is the same exact design for the 707 and the 727. So once I design the nose, I can use this very same design on the 727 and the 707. And I believe it's used on some other Boeing aircraft, but I don't know. But yeah, just tell me what you think in the comments below. I'm still working on it. If some areas don't look quite right, that's because they're not quite right, and it's still a massive work in progress. Building noses of aircraft takes a whole lot of time. I believe the nose for the 747 took about 2 weeks because that thing was just a nightmare. You have to get all the proportions correct because if one thing's just a stud off or half a stud off, or even a quarter of a stud off, it's going to look really weird and it's not going to look right. So yeah, the noses, they're difficult. Anybody who's built a Lego plane knows that the nose is difficult. So yeah, that's all I really have for this update. My hope is to have the wing done by the next update, and then the last update will probably be for the tail. Okay, so maybe 2 or 3 more updates, and then I'll put this thing up on Lego Ideas and give it a chance. So that's all I really have for this video. If you liked it, please be sure to hit subscribe, hit like, blah 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 blah, and that's all I really have for this one. Bye for now.